शुक्लकृष्णे गतिहेते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिम् अन्यया वर्तते पुनः.
Now in this verse he summarizes. He says, these bright and dark parts of the world are verily considered eternal. Why does he say eternal? Shashvate mate. Because they seem to go on and on and on and on. And we'll see why he says that. One leads to non-return, by the other, one returns again. So the two paths are bright path, Devayana, from which there is no return. You go from there to moksha, liberation. The dark part, Pitruyana, is where you go to heaven and come back. Both are Shashvata, eternal, means relatively, it just goes on and on and on. This samsara that we seem to be caught in, this prison that we are caught in, seems to be endless. It just goes on and on. If you were to take a step back and take a look at our lives, what happens? You're born. You go through the painful process of learning, muddling through your experiences, gaining some kind of expertise in whatever you're doing. And then you get attached to various people around you. And one fine day, you die. And then you're born again. And the same procedure goes on all over again. The only difference is there are different people, different environment, different situations. But one thing is common, that you get attached. And wherever you get attached, the separation is very painful. So you go through these painful exercises. That's why he keeps saying, dukkha yoni. This existence in the world itself is full of pain. You have a few moments of pleasure, then you get attached, and then there is a lifetime of sorrow when the separation comes. And that has to come. Whatever you do, you evolve technologically, you make great strides in science and research and this, that and the other in the world, you can't change this. You can't change the very nature of the world, which is temporary, passing, fleeting, and full of sorrow. The only difference is you get high-tech sorrow now. Earlier, there was no high-tech sorrow, but the sorrow is there. So, what you need to understand is that the world has been given to us to cleanse ourselves of the impurity of desire so that we move to the stage outside the prison. Why is any prisoner put in a prison? So that he mends his ways and someday gets out of the prison. Except for life imprisonment is a different situation. But if you shift to the prison and decide to make your permanent abode there, that's terrible. And that's what we're all doing. Okay, take another example. Why does anybody go to a hospital? You go to a hospital for, let's say, investigation, you go to a hospital for a particular treatment, surgery, whatever it is, only to come out of the hospital. And all the people concerned, whether it is the doctors or nurses or whoever, they are working towards getting you out of the hospital as quickly as possible. Isn't that right? Particularly now in Western countries, the insurance companies are after you to get discharged quickly. But if you go to the hospital and say, oh, so nice it is, because there's one gentleman who went to a hospital and, there are fixed visiting hours, so his wife and family were not allowed. And apparently he was having problems with his wife. The wife nags all the time. So he went to hospital and found it so peaceful. He had visit from the wife only 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. And during that 1 hour in the morning and evening, he pretended to be fast asleep. So there's no interaction. He kept telling the doctor, no, I'm feeling weak, I don't want to go home. And the doctor was wondering, he says, everything seems to be okay with this guy. Why is he saying he's not well? So one fine day, he decided to nail him. He says, look, there's something wrong. All your indicators, your tests, everything is normal, and still you're saying you're not well. You tell me honestly, there's just only you and me in this room. Tell me really honestly, because I'm losing sleep over you. Tell me what's wrong with you. He says, doctor, to tell you honestly, everything's fine with me. I'm feeling great. But the wife is the problem. So the doctor said, don't worry, I'll speak to the wife. The wife came. 1 hour he spent with the wife. He spoke 2 words. The rest of the time she was speaking. So he went back to the patient and said, look, let's enter a deal. I'll tell her that no visitors allowed for 7 days, but on the 8th day you have to go home. This is it. So if you enter a prison and say a hospital or whatever it is, which is meant for a temporary abode, and you decide to make that place permanent, then there's a problem. And that's what we've done. So the system can't allow it. If you decide to set up permanent abode in this world, the system can't allow it, so it pushes you. It pushes you, you come back again. And this goes on and on. Therefore, he says they're considered eternal. The same world, the same circumstances, the same people around. If only you change your attitude and you use this to heave yourself up spiritually and commit yourself that someday I must break free from this. Problem with this is we all get acclimatized to the prison. We get acclimatized to bondage, and thereafter you don't even understand that you're bound. So the first step is the understanding. Understanding of your condition, understanding that there is the possibility of breaking free. And then you're motivated to come there. So what it means is you can't compromise with anything less than realization. Because anything less than realization is the world, is the prison. So a person who maintains this and refuses to compromise. See, the moment you say no to anything in the world, your value goes up. It's like somebody who's trying to bribe you. If you say no to a bribe, they won't understand that you're honest. All that they will understand is that I haven't met with your level. So it's hiked. It's hiked, and the more you say no, the more the guy wants to. Now it's not a question of money, it's a question of, I will see how to break this fellow. So you get into a company. The more you say no, the more you become powerful and the other person becomes submissive. And this is the case with the world. That's why we said in the beginning, just fake it. Put on an act of not being concerned. Put on an act of not wanting anything and see what happens. What will happen is the stakes will be raised immediately, 100%. The moment, at any stage, you succumb, finished, that's it. You won't even get that. You're out. So the catchword here is dispassion, vairagya. You have to cultivate. And this doesn't come unless you have value for something beyond it. And that's why we say knowledge is of the essence. As you cultivate this knowledge, and as you're able to, as we said yesterday, correlate it with your experiences in the world, you begin to see the futility of all that the world has to offer. That's when you've really come into your own. So at least work towards that. Next verse.